Thank you very much for taking the time to view this video demonstration of the ALEN Incorporated NCIC Query product with e-ticketing for South Carolina. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to do a brief demonstration of how to use the ALEN system to write a citation with and without the use of query results. But before I do, I'd like to go into a little bit about the user interface. This is the ALEN system. We are logged in to a fictitious agency, but the software that you see is the actual ALEN software that all of our customers use. On the top row are things that follow the user throughout the system and are always visible and available. On the top left, you see RMS, CAD, e-ticket, and log out. These are the modules available to this particular user. Over toward the right, you see traffic stop and on scene. These are two quick buttons that update our AVL product to let anyone who needs to know what the status of the officers are. Next is information about which user is currently logged in. We're logged in as Officer 2 with the Bear Creek PD. To the right of that, you'll see that Officer 2 has 2 messages waiting. That's what the red circle with the white number 2 in the middle of it means. That's to alert Officer 2 that he has 2 messages waiting. Also, you see day mode and night mode. Those are toggle switches that allow the user to toggle between day mode, which is the mode we're using right now, and night mode, which is better for the user, especially at night in a patrol car. They don't want the bright glare of the day mode. So those toggle switches are always available to the user anywhere in the system. Last but not least, you see the lifeline icon. That is for users to easily and quickly access support, which we'll talk about in more detail in a few minutes. So to demonstrate the effectiveness of day mode and night mode, we'll just toggle into night mode real quickly. And as you can see, it literally reverses the image of all of the features and functions of the system to make it more pleasing to the user who might be working in a dark room or in a dark patrol car. But we're going to stay in day mode for this demo today. And finally, I do want to show you what happens when you engage the support icon. It pops open contact information, how to reach our support team 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And we are staffed completely by human beings who work directly for ALEN out of our headquarters location. So we're always here to take care of your users. Next on the user interface, we want to talk about the query menu. The query menu is found on the far right hand side of the user interface, and it's always available to your users who are certified to run NCIC queries. What's cool about this menu is it can be modified per the user. So the queries that a given user might use most often can be listed at the top. The ones they don't use at all could be hidden from view altogether. So that's a nice customizable feature for your user community. So the top bar and the query menu are always visible to your users throughout the use of the ALEN system. We want to talk about 2 ways to access the e-ticketing functionality. One way is through the main menu and the citation button, and that brings you to the citation grid. This is simply a listing of all the tickets that are currently in your ALEN system for your agency. At this point, I'd like to mention that our system can assign ticket numbers for your officers automatically based on a ticket book range that's assigned to them in the system, or a user can manually enter in a ticket number, and this becomes very useful in situations where someone's written a manual paper ticket and you need to key it into the system for purposes of reporting to SCUTTIES. The grid can be filtered using these funnel type filters so that you can view on your particular grid just those citations that you're interested in seeing. Also, from the grid view, you can create a new citation, or you can duplicate an existing citation. This comes in real handy when you want to write multiple citations to the same violator. You can view past tickets here, you can add notes to a ticket here, and you can print various copies of the citation from this screen. And we'll show that in just a little bit later. Please note also that we support warning tickets, and from here you would be able to void any tickets that needed to be voided. Okay, with the user interface pretty well covered, let's talk about a typical scenario. A deputy or a police officer makes a traffic stop. The first thing they would normally do is run a query. So we'll navigate over to the query menu and we'll select Quick Vehicle, where we can run a vehicle query. All the user does is key in the tag number. Our little demo tag number is SC tag. Make sure the right state for that tag is selected and hit search. This is what a typical query results window looks like. You see that the system told us all it knows about the vehicle and the registered owner, and even some lien information. Usually next, the patrol officer or the deputy will run a driver's license. So again, we navigate over to the query menu, select Quick Driver, and enter in the driver's license number and click search. So what's happened is our computer system has gone out to inlets and then to the state of South Carolina and retrieved this raw response that you see at the bottom of the screen. What ALEN's does for each raw response is we parse it and format it and place it above the raw response for the user's ease of use. So we can see now that Brian Liam Gilbert is an Asian male with a 10/5/92 date of birth, a clear driver's license, no suspensions, nothing weird. So that is our driver query result. The parsing of the data and the highlighting of information is a unique feature of ALEN's NCIC Query product and is very, very well received by all of our users. It just makes their job of knowing who they're dealing with and what they're dealing with so much faster and easier. Beyond that, we have a menu bar above the results screen where we can save these results if we need to. We can copy and paste to another application. We can print them out in a PDF. All sorts of things there. Also, just above that, there is a button that's available now called eTicket that lets us see if this particular driver has received citations anywhere else in the ALEN system. And that could be with your agency, or it could be with a neighboring agency that's using ALEN e-ticketing, really anybody that's using ALEN e-ticketing. This driver's tickets would show up under this tab. As a user runs queries throughout their shift, they are retained in a list under the query history. They can be cleared out anytime the user needs to or wants to by using the trash can icon, which is essentially a delete history button. And all of the queries work the same way. So whether you're running a driver, a vehicle, wanted persons, that sort of thing, we're going to get the raw results. We're going to parse it and present it to the user in a pleasing way, which does have an advantage over many other query products that we know are available for folks in South Carolina. So from here, we can write a ticket by clicking on Create eTicket. What's going to happen when we do that is the system's going to create a brand new e-ticket, open us up to the e-ticket interface, insert the driver information, and allow us to complete the process. So here we have Brian Lynn Gilbert and the associated information that came back from the query results. If we want to include the vehicle information, which obviously we do, then all we have to do is go up above, click on Recent Queries, and locate the query for the vehicle, click Insert, and all the vehicle and registered owner information will come into our e-ticket just that quickly. From here, the usual next step is to add a violation. So we're going to click on the Violation and Location tab. One of the biggest benefits of using the ALEN e-ticketing program is that your violations are preloaded in the back end of the system, and the officers and deputies that are using the system can key in either the code or a part of the description, and our system will bring them anything that matches that. So the learning curve is very low and the effectiveness is very high. So we're going to key in speeding and see what happens. Well, you do have to spell it right, but once you key in speeding correctly, you'll see it brings us 4 or 5 different codes that are appropriate, and the user can select which one is needed for this particular citation. And the descriptions are standard and the codes are standard. All right, now if you have an officer who writes a lot of tickets and knows that the speeding code is 1520, they can key in the code and it'll come right up. We do not allow any freeform entries into this field because it's really important that the written charge on the actual citation is to standard and will hold up. Okay. After that, if you want to, you can put in the bond amount. You can fill out other information that is needed for this citation. So from here, we're going to say that this guy was going 75 and a 45. So we'll put 75 in the speed field and 45 in the zone field. We're going to visually confirm the date of the violation, which was March 3rd. We're not making an arrest, so we're going to clear that out. We can put information about where this happened. That'll all appear on the ticket. If you use a court program that's interfaced with ALEN, or if you just want the court information on the ticket, you go to the Court and Officers tab and complete the information. Most of this will be completed for you automatically because we have things set up in the back end of the system. And the system knows that if you're writing a ticket today, the court date should be April 14th. We just adjust for what time court happens and we're good to go. So we can double check everything before we save the citation. And because we're SCUTTIES certified, I want to show you what happens if you save a citation and the SCUTTIES interface detects an error. So we're going to do that right now. So the officer clicks save. And the system verifies the ticket and lets us know that there's an issue. So if you see up in the top left-hand corner, please correct errors on the Errors tab. And then you'll notice the word Errors is an additional tab on the screen. So the officer would click on that tab to see what the problem is. And we're being told that the arrest as a result of collision is a required field. Okay, so what we need to do then is quickly jump over to the Violation and Locations tab of the ticket and complete that field. We're going to clear out the date of arrest because we are not making an arrest in this case. Save the ticket again, and that error has been resolved. So this is the ticket that we just wrote, and it's ready to be issued to the violator. To do that, we click on the print button and print it on the onboard printer in the patrol car. Tear it off, walk over, issue it to the violator. And as you can see, this is the uniform traffic ticket for South Carolina. Now in our demo system, we have it set up to print all the copies that you might need. The violator copy, the agency copy, the officer copy, and the court copy. But normally that would not be happening in a patrol car. Normally you would have your user set to only print the violator copy. But this is to show you that we do have all those copies in our system. Easy to produce for the parties that need them. To quickly change which copies are going to be generated when the print button is used, you go to the little gear icon and check or uncheck the copies you want. And then the next time you use the print button, that change is reflected. So here we have only the violator copy, which is typical of most patrol officers and deputies. For users who are responsible for voiding tickets, it's really quickly and easily done from this same grid. All you do is highlight the tickets you want to void and click on the void button. When the void button is engaged, you're asked to give a reason why, verify the date and time of the void, put in the supervisor's name, and if you have a control system with a control number, you have the option of putting it in here, but it's not required. Once the information's in the system, you click Save, and the ticket is voided. And you'll notice voided tickets have the word voided out to the right-hand side of the citation number. You can display tickets from this page using the display button. It basically shows you everything that's written about that ticket, but I like to use the print button because then it brings it to me in a format that I'm used to looking at, and I can zoom in and really take a look at that ticket in its final form. You have a notes feature. If you want to put in notes that are specific to a ticket, you can do that here. And they are not part of the ticket, they are just notes appended to the ticket. And then this is where we have the functionality of duplicate, where you can write multiple tickets quickly by duplicating the first one, changing the charge, saving it, printing it, and repeating that process for as many citations as you want to write during one traffic stop. If you're on this screen and you want to write a brand new ticket, you would use the New button, and then it's going to open up a blank new citation with no information in it. You can either manually enter in all that information, or you have access to your recent queries and you can import the information in. So here we are in a brand new blank ticket, but we can go to recent queries and we can insert the driver and the vehicle information by clicking on these two insert buttons. And then we pop back over to the violator tab. You'll see that all that information has come into the ticket automatically. And all we need to do is put in the charge, verify the court information, verify that we have all the information SCUTTIES wants, and save the ticket and print it. So it's very fast. So you can access the recent queries from the new ticketing function, or you can access a ticket from the queries function, whichever makes more sense at the time. To enter a paper ticket, you'll click on New. You'll turn on Is Paper Ticket, and when you do, you're asked for the citation number. So you'll key in the physical ticket number from the physical paper ticket that was written and given to the offender. As you can see, the ticket number is now displayed on the screen. If you made an error, you can edit that ticket number. If not, it's good to go. Same as before, you can pull in your driver and vehicle information from query results instead of keying them in manually. That's the point of this paper citation button, allowing you to override the automatic process of generating the ticket number with the physical ticket number that was written in the paper ticket book. So this concludes our video demonstration of South Carolina NCIC queries and e-tickets. I want to thank you again for the time and attention, and if you have any questions or you want to discuss anything with us directly, please use the information on the screen right now to reach out to us. And as always, thank you so much, and stay safe.